Hello and welcome to the Tifo Football Podcast. I'm Joe Devine.
That's right, and I'm delighted to be joined by Al Nash, live from London. It's Sunday night. Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, you like that?
I love it.
Fantastic. Now, I'm Joe Devine, of course, and I'm also delighted to be welcomed today by Jon Mackenzie
Hello.
and Kaynak.
You said welcome by Jon Mackenzie there. That was
I?
fun, yeah.
I've done that a few times.
Welcome.
But I am welcomed by Jon Mackenzie.
You are. Welcome,
Fantastic.
Joe.
Now, it's a podcast. We're here to talk about the World Cup. What have we got on today's show? Well, so many things. I was going to have you as my co-host, Al Nash. I was going to have you read out the intro, but I forgot to text it to you ahead of time, so I'll just read it now.
Sure.
Yeah? Here's what we talked about today. Germany's statement 7-1 win over Curacao. Will history repeat itself? Writes Steve. I don't know. In fact, Steve, just to be clear, Steve didn't write that, but he's here in spirit with us, isn't he? And see, die Nationalmannschaft lift the trophy once more. Did I get that right? No, I said that wrong. I knew I was going to say that wrong. They taught me how to say it correctly 2 times. But alas, what can you do? Old dogs. Now, the Netherlands and Japan played out a 2-2 draw. We talk about that. Very exciting. We play the game, Do I Hate This or Am I an Old Man? Very exciting. That's going to be good. Oh, we play a rondo. Do you know what a rondo is, Al Nash?
In the context of podcasting,
I'll tell you all about it later.
Great.
Don't you worry. Now, we also play a new game that's based around items that have been bought secondhand from eBay. JJ and John are involved in that. JJ's not here today. He's here tomorrow. But we'll still be able to see what he bought from eBay. Now, we also talk about the USA's impressive start as one of the hosts and why John knew that they would be so good. Scotland, they beat Haiti last night, but could they have scored more goals? And will it come back to bite them? And Brazil struggled, of course, against an impressive Morocco side. And then we check in on our summer version of Points Are Bad. That's already very, very tense. And at the end, we read some new jokes in a segment called Excellent Football Jokes. That's going to be fun. Look out for that. Did I miss anything, Producer Ryan? No. A dour shake of the head over there. How about that? Now, normally I read that at the end, so when I finish the intro, I just sort of slump into my chair and everyone goes home. But it's the beginning of the show, so I can't do that, can I? I must maintain the same energy and remember when I'm editing this late at night after the stream is finished that I must now add the entrance music. There it was. It was the flute. The flute played in my ear.
Oh, did it?
Very exciting. It was in the wrong place, but we'll get it right tomorrow. It's okay. Now, let's start, of course, with Germany 7, 1 Curacao. My co-host Al Nash, would you mind reading the second message that I sent you there?
I'd be honoured. Germany beat World Cup newcomers Curacao 7-1 in a statement win this afternoon.
They
Joe.
did, Al, yeah.
Curacao didn't leave with nothing, though. They scored their first ever World Cup goal.
They did. I love that you read that like a joke. It was actually
It's no
serious
joke.
thing.
It happened.
It was no joke at all.
No.
Very serious game of football. John, I mean, there's a couple of interesting things here, John. The first one, though, let me come to you, is Brian and I, beforehand, producer Brian, we tried to write this question in several different ways, but we reduced it to just how good are Germany? Because I'm sort of somewhat surprised and also not surprised at the same time.
Yeah, and as Ryan mentioned in the beginning of our stream, that it's kind of hard to judge where Germany are at in these tournaments often. We talked a little bit as well about how with Julian Nagelsmann, I think he's probably the best tactician who's up there. Maybe Thomas Tuchel there as well. And so as a result, you get the impression with the German national team that there's always that tension between if things go well, then everyone's like, yeah, this is great. But if things go badly, it will descend into a debate about did we make the most of the players that we had? Did we worry too much about the structural collective over the top aspect? Should we just have got our best players in the best positions for them to do well? And yeah, you know, that will be the way that the debate will go. But I think it was pretty good signs for Germany insofar as under Nagelsmann, I think they have a lot of flexibility. They can play in different ways. Julian Nagelsmann, when he was at Bayern, played one season where he was doing a lot of Pep Guardiola things, so a lot of sort of nice, neat, tidy positional play structures where you could not only progress the ball in a consistent way, but you can defend the breakdown if you lose it. But also in the second season, introduced a bit more of a Germanic influence into the team. So playing a little bit more direct, a little bit with the players closer together through the middle, bringing the players, I guess, into positions where they're able to integrate with one another, and they have the ability to do that. And they did that a little bit in the game today. I thought they started off playing a little bit more compact in the centre through the middle. middle, but then using combinations, overloads in wide areas in the second half as well to get things out of it. So I think that will be very much the story for Germany. We'll have to see them play against a better opponent than Curacao, but I think the idea will be, will Julian Nagelsmann be able to find the solutions when they need to, and if in the moment if they don't manage to do that, whether or not the conversation will then become, oh well, we should have just done the simple thing and put our best players in the best positions. So, yeah.
Well, kind of as TV's Al Nash said earlier, Curacao didn't leave with nothing. I know it sounds almost humorous to say that they did score one goal in the 7-1 defeat, but it is their first ever World Cup goal. I'm sure it was celebrated at home.
Yes, it's a massive moment for the smallest nation at the World Cup, and I think it was only a decade or so ago that they announced their intention to try and get to the World Cup. They had Patrick Kluivert as their coach. They've done a great job of recruiting players to be part of the national team, but also keeping in touch with that Dutch diaspora and also the people who live on the island. There's a real strong bond, and I think the people who were there today were really proud to see Curacao at a tournament for the first time, and no matter what the score was, I think they were going to be proud and have a good time. So I think the first goal was an amazing moment for them. When it came, it was a real sort of shot out the blue because Germany had been dominating in the first few stages of the game, and you're thinking, God, how many could this be? It turned out to be quite a lot, but I think you start to think for Curacao that kind of moment is a moment not to forget. I mean, there are other parts to the game that maybe we'll come on to later in terms of their momentum and how it was being built up and maybe got stunted, but yeah, I think you listen. They'll have that memory forever. They'll be very proud of the way they played, and this was their toughest game. So I think they'll go into other games thinking we've shown what we can do. I know they kind of fell apart a bit towards the end of the game, and they were picked quite easily. But as John's outlined, Germany are a good team who will do that to a lot of countries at this World Cup, and I think there's no shame in how Curacao played today. And the goal was an amazing moment for them.
How far do you think Germany will go?
Ooh, it's a good question. It's always hard to say at this stage because of the whole third place thing and not being able to plot a route to the final and the brackets and all that kind of stuff. But I think when I was doing predictions, I said they'd get around the quarterfinals-ish. I just kind of feel like where they are in terms of maybe the top 8 teams in the tournament. I think they have quality to go beyond that if the sort of circumstances are right, but I don't think quarterfinals would be a bad finish for this squad. I think they do have some weaknesses in key areas, like the fullback positions. They may be lacking a bit. So I think it's interesting. They can definitely cause a lot of teams a lot of problems, but yeah, probably about quarterfinals.
I think as well with the German national team, they've got a lot of key players who haven't necessarily played a lot recently, or coming back from injury, or haven't had good seasons. So Florian Wirtz, we don't need to tell listeners of this podcast of the season he's just had, and I think that's going to be a sort of big question that hangs over them. Like, what difference will it make them all coming together in for the national team, and whether or not they can get up to speed quickly? Which is why I think it's good for them to get a ton of goals in today and just feel relaxed that they can produce when they're together. So it'll be good to see. I'm looking forward to seeing Florian Wirtz showing everyone why Liverpool spent so much money on him.
Now, Al Nash, I know you've been on holiday and you haven't watched loads of these games yet so far, but do you have a sense of who you think might win the World Cup?
I've got a funny feeling about Portugal.
Yeah? How funny?
Pretty hilarious.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, I think Fernandes has had an amazing season, and I think he'll carry on that form. I think Ronaldo's going to finally lift that trophy.
You think so?
And we're all rooting for him, aren't we?
How about that? I wonder if Ronaldo was somehow to be out of the team, he might be more likely to lift the trophy. It is possible. This is a theme that continues from the Euros that we saw two years ago. It's odd, isn't it, when you have an untakeoutable star in the team there? I guess it's not so much of an issue for other teams of the World Cup.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the big questions of this World Cup in particular, because I feel as though, it almost feels as though we've moved beyond we have one star in our team and we just try and make them do everything. Teams are so much more collective than they've ever been. The level of the domestic game is so high, and we're seeing a lot of the tactical ideas that we see in domestic football sort of leaching their way into the games, and I think that's going to be really interesting. I said in the preview to our live stream that I expect there to be more upsets in this tournament than we've ever seen before, just because I think there's so many teams now who could just shift tactical shapes because they're doing that domestically all the time. They're happy to move around. And for example, just watching Japan today, I know we're going to get onto Japan, but how well coached they are out of possession in a mid-block it's like impressive if you see a domestic team doing that, where they're training a number of times a week, and they're constantly working on the same shape to be able to get a group of players together who are playing all around the world. We said, like, there's a lot of them in the J League, but there's they've got 100 players or so around Europe playing in different teams, different levels. To be able to bring them all together in a very short space of time and get them that well coached is remarkable. So I think that we're going to see the big questions, I think, about this team has got X player who we think of as being really good. Are they actually holding the team back in some way? Because, if you start trying to build the team around one player, everything else can fall apart. And that's the big Thomas Tuchel thing, right? Is you're not trying to get the 26 best players on the pitch. Yeah. You're trying to build the best team. And that doesn't necessarily mean that in every position you're going to have the player who is thought of as the best in that position. Actually, you can leave your Phil Fodens at home. You can leave your Cole Palmers at home and still have a very functional team.
Big calls from Jon Mackenzie and Thomas Tuchel. Joint calls, I believe. Al, would you mind leading us into the next section? Netherlands 2 to Japan.
Now, Joe, I'll tell you for free. Japan came back late to draw 2-2 against an impressive Netherlands team.
Did they?
A tough group.
Wow.
A real toughie.
Yeah.
Now, the Netherlands, Joe, are tipped by some, not myself, but some do say they may go deep in this tournament. And they are 10 places above Japan in the FIFA rankings.
How about that?
How about it?
Thanks, Al.
You're welcome.
That was fun. Now, Jon, let me come to you. Japan, they've come to this tournament with two of their key players missing. Endo and Mitoma, not there. Today's result was pretty good. Like coming back late on, as Al said, 2-2 against the Netherlands team. Does it feel, this is our place to start maybe, but does it feel like somewhat this could be, a what could have been moment if Japan did have all of their stars at the tournament, that maybe they could have even won this game?
Yeah, so Endo is the captain of the Japanese national team, I believe. And then Mitoma was scoring plenty of really nice goals in the run-up. Scored a goal against England, I think, in that game that England lost. And so really unlucky to lose Mitoma as an option. They were able to bring in Dyson Maeda from Celtic, who is a really good out-of-possession player. So that will have changed the dynamics a little bit. But yeah, when you have players like Mitoma who are that's just so creative, so able to cause problems at this level, if you lose a player like that, it can have a massive dent on your tournament. So yeah, I think it's a testament to the fact that they can just absorb those kind of losses and still look like a really well coached team. But they will be thinking now, if we had those players, could we have maybe come out on top in this game?
Who are the other two teams in Group F?
Sweden.
Sweden and Tunisia.
And Tunisia.
Yeah. So I mean, so like Kai, Japan will be feeling presumably very confident about qualifying.
Yeah, I think both teams will be happy with the point in the scheme of things, particularly given that 4 points is probably going to be enough to get you through. If you win one of your two remaining games, chances are you'll be into the round of 32. So yeah, a good result for them overall, both of them. Yeah.
It's also quite fun when the two teams that you might expect to finish top of the group draw, because it means that it then almost becomes, if they win both their games, it then becomes a sort of who can score the most goals kind of will get through, and you'll probably see a little bit of gamesmanship in terms of trying to work out which route is better, the first or second place one. So yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about that again when it comes to Scotland shortly as well. Kai, we mentioned already that the Netherlands might be a team that go deep into the tournament. Why are people predicting them to do that? And also, you were maybe a touch unimpressed.
Yeah. So in answer to your first question, it might seem obvious, but they've got quite a lot of good players. They've lost, a bit like Japan lost an important player before the World Cup. They lost Xavi Simons, who is massive for them, to an ACL with Spurs. One of several Spurs players who picked up serious injuries this season. But
just a little bit of Arsenal layer.
Hey, you brought it up, not me. I didn't say anything. But
think of the Arsenal the Spurs medical department.
The Spurs medical department. I think they've done a great job this season. I think that shouldn't be underestimated in the role that Spurs stayed up. But for Holland, they have good Premier League players, and obviously the Premier League is held up as the best league in the world by a lot of people. A lot of the best players, a lot of the best teams are from Holland. Virgil van Dijk is still a very important player for the Dutch team, and obviously scored today a really good header, very big threat from set pieces. Defensively, they're really strong. They've got a good midfield as well. It's up front where I think maybe they're lacking, and I think maybe sometimes Ronald Koeman's tactics play into that a bit, and he's generally a pragmatic coach. I know before in our sort of pre-live stream show, Jon was talking about Ronald Koeman kind of rallying against his pragmatic label, but I think he's a coach who has shown himself across multiple managerial jobs now to be someone who would rather maybe lock a game down than go out, and in this case when they were 2-up, switched to a back five quite late, but on Nathan Ake, I think for Reinders, or sacrificed a midfielder for a defender to go to a back five, and that invited Japan onto the Netherlands, and that's kind of when they lost control of the game, which I felt in the second half. I know Japan were causing quite a few problems, but they were relatively comfortable. It didn't feel like Japan were peppering the Dutch goal. I think once they started to sit a bit deeper, they invited Japan onto them. And if as you go further and further into the tournament, particularly when extra time and penalties and all that come into play, if you go in front and you try and shut games down like that, it's certainly a valuable way, a valid way, of playing in a tournament football. It can take you far, and the Netherlands have gone probably further than people have expected in recent years. Semi-finals of the Euros, quarterfinals of the last World Cup, and only lost to Argentina, the eventual winners, on penalties. So they've got that pedigree, but I think Koeman's tactics sometimes maybe invite a bit more pressure on them than they need. So yeah, I just felt today in the game that kind of didn't serve them that well. But it's always easy to be wise after the fact. But I just feel his pragmatism doesn't always help them that much.
Maybe a lack of depth there as well for the Dutch team, right? When you look at the subs they're bringing on, Quentin Timber, Ten Koopmeiners, Memphis Depay, who shows that they've got a bit of a lack in forward areas in particular, Nathan Ake, Brian Brobby as well. So not a bench that you feel as though in big games maybe will do a huge amount to turn tides.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to finish top of that group?
It's a good question.
Al Nash, what do you think?
I think it will be Netherlands still,
Yeah?
despite Kai's very good summation of their ups and downs. I think they just have enough to get over the line.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I distracted you a lot during that game, peppering you with questions about your Wikipedia page. Yeah. Okay. Well, would you guys like to play a game called Am I an Old Man Now? Or is it okay to really hate these things? I got to write that down somewhere because I keep changing what the game is called every time I describe it. But now, guys, the World Cup so far has it's been fun. We've enjoyed some of the games. I've enjoyed some of the moments, but also there have been things that have caused me to be livid with fury. And I don't know, what I want to understand from you guys today is whether it's okay for me to be so angry, or am I just becoming an old man sort of shouting at a cloud, right? So here's the first thing I don't like. I don't like the music that they pump into the stadium every opportunity. I find that very upsetting. Or I suggest that they could at least play something that doesn't feel like it's been sort of corporately selected. Do I have any appreciators of this sentiment in the room? Anyone that would care to argue the other way? Perhaps music in a stadium is a good idea.
Are you
Are they using specific songs for certain moments?
I don't think so. I just think when I've been watching the live broadcast, like any time the game stops or any time there's a break in play, certainly before games as well and after games, they just kind of pump very loud, sort of bad music into it.
I remember going to a hockey match once with my girlfriend at the time's family. Pointless detail, but I've said it now.
The whole family?
I believe it was her whole entire immediate family.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Had you met
Big
them
hockey
before?
Family. Yes, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
just field hockey?
Field hockey, yeah. And I remember at the time, I forget the song. This is so not worth the anecdote, but I remember at the time they'd picked a certain song. It was a penalty,
Right.
and the song corresponded. It was sort of a countdown type song, like a song that had like a 5, 4, 3, or whatever the hell.
And at the end, they had to do the penalty.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and
quite
I
a lot
remember
of pressure for
thinking
the
if you
athlete.
have to put a song in there to generate the atmosphere of the moment,
Yeah.
then the game is clearly quite boring.
Right.
So I wondered if they were choosing particular songs for the moment.
I don't think they are. Although you've sparked a memory in me. I recently went to see a hockey game, an ice hockey game.
At Alexandra Palace.
Yes,
the
yes.
Haringey Huskies.
The Haringey Huskies.
I'm frequently go there.
Terrific team.
Great.
Peter Cech in goal.
Yep.
Very good. Anyway, I quite enjoyed the music there because it felt appropriate. It felt like it fit the ice hockey vibe. Whereas, I don't know, there's something in me that doesn't appreciate seeing a stadium sort of full. I think what it is that I don't appreciate the planned fun vibe.
Yeah.
With football,
It is-
but then maybe that's just me being a grumpy old man.
It is the American approach to sports, particularly in their stadiums. We've got a video coming out on Tifo Sports pretty soon about American stadium culture and how they approach fandom, and it's viewed as an entertainment product as well as a sport, which I think a lot of people who are used to watching football will be very affronted by, as the title of this game proves. But I think, that's kind of how it's viewed. So when people are spending lots and lots of money on tickets, I think the American stadiums justify it by saying, well, it's not just the game we're providing. Look at this funky music we're piping into the stadiums.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, how about that?
Is it just the sort of knock-on impact of the commercialization of the sport, right? When you're making the sport into a bit more of a product, and it's kind of like an event that you go to, then you're not getting a lot of fans through the door who know a lot of the traditional songs. And so what they're doing now is everyone plays Hey Jude, everyone plays Sweet Caroline, but you don't sing it like that. You say Sweet Caroline, slightly different. I hadn't really thought about that before. And I think that I find that quite annoying because it just a sort of a reminder that you have to play songs that people already know to sort of generate atmosphere rather than actually build an atmosphere from regular match-going fans.
Like with North London Forever.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Arsenal for doing that, right? It's hard to achieve that kind of thing, but yeah.
Okay, here's another thing I hate. I hate it so far when the camera has cut to famous people in the crowd that are not related to football. I'm trying to. I do think that's not a uniquely American thing. I want to make it clear because they do it in the UK as well. Although the famous people you see are like the Prince is there, or we've seen Rod Stewart about 17 times in the last week or so. But I am finding it frustrating that it does appear that any opportunity for a break in play. Maybe this was mainly during the first US game as well, where there were many celebrities that congregated, so it might go a little easier during the tournament. But I don't know. I find it annoying when they cut to famous people.
Cut to Al.
Please cut to Al.
They did that to me at the Wrexham game we went to.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow, that's an honour, isn't it?
Yeah, very strange.
How about that? Do you have
I had
any?
like the biggest double chin in the world and just looked horrendous, but it's all part of it.
Do you have any relation to football professionally?
Any like a relation?
Well, I mean, I guess you break my rule, don't you? They shouldn't have cut to you in the case of my rule because you're not an athlete or.
Well, it was a
football
Wrexham
person.
game, and I guess Humphrey was there, who writes for SNL. So that was the connection.
That's true. A nice connection.
Yeah, lovely connection.
A good one. Okay.
Who have they cut to? Famous people? Who can you remember from the?
The main one I remember is Tom Brady, who's an athlete, and I think that one's kind of okay. Did the secret handshake with his daughter. I'm trying to think of other famous people that they cut to. I think part of my problem is that most of the time I don't know who they are, but they've got an air of fame
because at
around
Wimbledon, I love it.
Okay.
Like Ben Stiller at Wimbledon, you're like, but is it the nature of the event? It's kind of very quiet and very sort of like.
Maybe it's a sort of fish out of water thing. You don't expect to see Ben Stiller at the tennis.
There's lots of breaks in play as well for these sports. Whereas with football, football, you're like, oh great, we're going to see a build-up sequence, and then it's like, oh no, we've just got Rod Stewart for a few seconds, and then you're like, oh suddenly they're now shooting. What's going on here?
Right. Yeah. Well, this brings me to my next one, which is. I really don't like the drinks breaks. Kaya, I know you agree with me about this.
Yes.
These are the hydration breaks that happen for 3 minutes in the middle of each half.
Yes.
Regardless of how hot the weather is. That
quite literally rain or shine, yeah.
And people in the UK won't have seen adverts for these during the broadcast because we have Ofcom rules that don't allow for that. But I'm sure in other countries that won't be the case.
Yeah, and there have been instances where the games have been delayed because those adverts have been late to come back. Or I think in America, I read that, I think Henry Bushnell wrote this in The Athletic, that some people watching American coverage had missed part of the game because the adverts were late to come back. But today, the drinks break was kind of at its worst, and I think kind of what people have been so fearful about with it, that it's going to kill momentum for teams. So Curacao scored in the 21st minute. The drinks breaks come normally 22, 23 minutes in, and it completely stunted the momentum. And the worst bit about it was, I think, where it was I think it's either Houston or Dallas, I think it's Houston, was pouring with rain. The roof was closed. So it wouldn't have been a case of it's too hot, we need this drinks break. It would have been a case of this is an air-conditioned stadium that we're playing in. The temperature probably would have been fine for the players. And I think there's a feeling that the 3 minute length as well is kind of longer than we've seen for drinks breaks in the past. And for Curacao, they had 2 shots on goal before the game, and they were kind of in the ascendancy. Sorry, before the drinks break, and they were in the ascendancy. After the drinks break, I think Germany went on to have, 7 unanswered shots, and in that time, the game went from 1-1 to 3-1 to Germany, and then obviously Germany scored right after half-time as well. It just completely took the game away from Curacao. And I think if you're going to do an upset, and John's right in predicting this could be a World Cup of many upsets, if you're going to do it, you need so many things to go in your favour. And Curacao kind of got really unlucky in the time they scored, which, given that football is a game of 2 halves, to use a cliche, is really disappointing, because I think if they'd have been able to hold on, rock Germany a bit longer than the 1 minute that they managed because of the drinks break, who knows what would have happened. Maybe Germany would have become a bit more frightened. Nagelsmann wouldn't have been able to essentially call a timeout and get his players sort of calm them down a bit and get them back on track and sort of talk to them about what they're doing wrong tactically. And I think it really backfired for Curacao, and that feels really unfair because there's already 75 ranking positions between the two teams. Like, Germany don't need anything more in their favour, I would say. So, yeah, it's changed the game, kind of, particularly in this World Cup. I feel like the way we're experiencing it is different. I mean, we're catering in things into our live streams to do during the drinks breaks because you have to. So the game has kind of changed into 4 quarters now, which is, I don't think, a good thing at all, particularly for momentum, particularly for smaller teams. I think it's actually an advantage to the big teams. And, yeah, I don't think there's enough upside to justify it.
Any other drinks break opinions before we move on?
Were there drinks breaks in Qatar?
No.
It was air-conditioned stadiums.
No, they were air-conditioned stadiums.
Really?
I mean, we
Yeah.
have seen them before, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there was like, you could have a drinks break if the temperature was a certain temperature.
Yeah.
Whereas now
okay.
I think they just implement them.
And these are
in
mandatory, and
games.
they're much longer. Is that the
They're-
main?
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
3 minutes,
Okay.
and then they add them as additional time at the end of each half. So that's why we've seen
okay.
so far that the added time at the end of the first half is much longer
I
than
didn't
normal
realise that. Wow,
because
that
they're
is
accounting
annoying.
for the thing.
Yeah.
It is kind of dull. But I think Kai's point about it sort of changing the flow of the game.
I quite like it because it gives me a chance to go to the toilet without missing anything.
It's important at your age, John.
Yeah, it's true.
Would you say?
Yeah, but part of me kind of thinks, it's great that you're now giving mandated like tactical slots for people to solve problems and stuff. But I think Kaya's right that it probably does play in the favour of the better sides. I also think that the idea of like temporizing games is kind of interesting. Like, can you go really aggressive in the first quarter and then reassess at the end of that and change things up in the second, and know that you've got that 3 minutes to be like, right, this is the change that we're making.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it'll be interesting to see what happens later on in the tournament when you get to the knockout stages, like whether or not we see big tactical shifts happening in those drinks breaks. But right now, it does just feel as though it's another way that the smaller teams are a little bit more disadvantaged.
So just to be clear, it's okay that I hate that. Maybe I'm an old man for some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine for you to hate whatever you want to hate. Like,
I feel bad about hating anything. Do you know my problem? I feel when I hate something as though I've made a miscalculation somewhere, or that I'm allowing my emotions to get the better of me, John.
I don't know if I don't think this is necessarily like representative, but I feel like the older I get, the less I hate things. Like I used to just hate so many things.
Yeah.
And now I'm just chilling out a bit more. I'm just like, okay, Whereas I think like most people get older and hate more. I started off.
Maybe you're in a sort of. It could be a sort of bit of a trough.
So it's like a bell,
period,
like a bell curve.
Like a bell curve.
So I'm my most tolerant.
Oh, you're most tolerant.
And then I'm going to sharp.
This is your
down
most
to-
tolerant.
Yeah. I think
Wow.
so.
What about you, El Nash? What do you hate?
Well, I was going to say, I think when you're younger, you kind of performatively hate things
Right.
to kind of try and
Like I hate
muster a
Coldplay.
personality, right? And it's
Yeah.
like Elbow's a big one for me. People are like, I hate Elbow. It's like, really? I think
Sure.
Elbow are phenomenal.
How about that?
Yeah, I love Elbow.
Coldplay very good as well.
Early Coldplay.
Oh,
brilliant.
Early
Yeah,
Coldplay.
Spice.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
Spice.
Yeah.
Any others?
Viva la vida.
Russia.
Russia.
Well, that was the decline had started there.
honestly.
Sadly,
It's only for Kaya's. Kaya's younger than us, you see. So
How old
Kaya
are you,
thinks
Kai?
Viva la Vida is
I'm
early
28.
Coldplay.
Oh,
So
disgusting.
my first sort of Coldplay was that. I don't remember, like, is it Clocks and Russian Blood
Blocks,
to
yeah,
the
Russian
Head?
to the head. Yeah.
Yeah, Yellow. That's kind of when I was quite young. So,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We drove through the Highlands of Scotland listening to the first album of Coldplay.
Do you know what? I actually quite enjoyed that. I'd completely forgotten that album.
Right.
And it was nice.
I thought you were talking about our drive.
No.
together.
I remember that very well.
Right.
I remember that holiday very well.
Yeah.
We had a great time in Scotland.
Absolutely.
But it was nice to relive that album and be reminded that I was a massive Coldplay fan when that album came out. And obviously, like as time went by, I was like, yeah, well, come on.
Sure.
This is obviously rubbish. But that first album was good, right? No, in that performative way that Al was talking about.
Of course. We all performed hatred for Coldplay at some point in our
exactly.
lives. It's okay to accept that. Hey, would you like to play a rondo?
We're going to name all of the Coldplay songs.
This is true. The track list for whatever that album was called. Now, Al Nash, here's what a rondo is. Okay, it's a little fun game that we play here on the Tifo Football Podcast, and you'll understand why we call it a rondo when I describe it, right? God, I normally explain this just off the cuff, don't I? What do I say? Oh, I say it's a question. It's a question that has multiple correct answers, and we go round in a circle.
Yeah.
And you give me a correct answer.
Yeah.
And if you fail to give me a correct answer, you will immediately be ejected from the game. Exactly.
Yes.
And if you dither or take too long, I will eject you for time wasting. But if you get a correct answer, you get to stay in the game. The last person standing is named Rondo del Rey. I know that's wrong. I know it's wrong. Please stop telling me in the comments. Now, The category, the question for today's Rondo, I've made it one for you. Because you're a Manchester United fan.
I am.
Manchester United's 2017 Europa League final squad. So they don't have to be starters. They just have to have been on the bench or in the starting lineup. Okay? And we're going to start with you, Al Nash. I'm looking for one name. And if you get it right, you'll stay in the game.
Great.
And if you get it wrong, you'll get another go because we're nice here.
Okay.
Okay? So
17, 18.
that's right. The Manchester United 2017, was it 2016-17 or 17-18? It was 16-17. And who was the manager? It was Mourinho, wasn't it? That's the year. Was it the year that they finished second in the Premier League? Maybe around then. Who knows? Okay.
Squad. Okay.
So I'm looking for an answer from you, Al Nash.
Okay.
Off you go, Rondo.
I'm going to say Eric Bailly.
Eric Bailly.
Oh no, was he injured? I tried to go less obvious.
I think he might be injured.
Oh,
But I
no.
think I'm certain he was in the team. He just wasn't in this team. Have another go. Have another
I
go.
think you're being very nice.
No.
You always get a free
There's a first pass. is free
Debutantes
rule.
get a
Okay.
second turn. Yeah.
David De Gea. Then.
David De Gea, of course, was there. Of course he was. There you go. Right, John?
I mean, you feel bad. Imagine how I feel. Fred.
Fred's not there. Fred's not there, John. You're out of the Rondo immediately. How about, would you like a second turn?
No, thanks.
No?
I'm quite happy with the turn of events.
Okay, Kaya.
Is it the match day squad from the actual game?
It's the matchday squad from the game.
Okay.
Now, Al, I must warn you, Kaya's very good at the Rondo.
Oh, I bet.
He keeps that, Viva La Vida, he just pulls it out.
Yeah.
How about that?
This is my paradise equivalent.
Yeah, let's hope we don't have a rush of blood to the head.
Hey, Sergio Romero was the backup goalie, or maybe even started in the game.
Sergio Romero was there. I don't know whether he started or not, but he
works
was
for
in
me.
the squad. Okay,
Yeah.
Al Nash, back to you.
Was Matteo Darmian there?
Matteo Darmian was there. One of the few Italians to play for Manchester United. How about that?
Fred didn't join Man United until 2018.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that was
well.
just the next year. What can you do? Kaya.
I think Zlatan was injured. I'm going to go for Daley Blind. I don't
Daily
know
Blind.
why.
He is there.
Yeah.
He is there.
That's good.
Okay, back to you, Al Nash.
I presume that Luke Shaw was there.
Luke Shaw. It's a dangerous name to say, isn't it? Because so many
He was
injuries
also very injured.
for Luke Shaw.
He was-
If
he
you
was
want to
injured.
retract it and have another one.
He was injured during the Mourinho era as well, wasn't
He
he?
was injured
I think
during
he got
all
injured.
the-
I think he got injured in the Champions League, though.
Could have done. Would you like to say another name?
I'm going to retract it and say Paul Pogba instead.
Paul Pogba was there.
Yes.
Congratulations. Okay, Kaya, back to you. You're doing well, Al. You're doing well.
I can picture that they wore the blue kit, and I can picture it.
How do you know that?
I watched the game. It was my second year of university.
We all watched the game.
right? This
can't
is
be
John
like-
at his most tolerant. Remember,
Presupposing that watching the game is the reason why you remember it. But
exactly.
I don't remember anything about my life.
Marouane Fellaini.
Marouane Fellaini was there.
Oh,
good.
come on.
Al Nash, back to you.
Phil Jones.
Phil Jones. Correct answer.
Good show.
Oh my God, it's getting tense.
I feel like when you say
You watched the game, Kaya. Come on, just name all the people
Kaya, you
who played
watched
in
the
the
game.
game. They were wearing a blue
Yeah.
shirt.
they were with red Adidas stripes.
Oh, what's he called?
Let's go for. Well, he said Jones. I feel like Jones and Smalling come as a pair. So Chris Smalling.
Chris Smalling
No.
is there.
Oh,
Okay, he's there. It just took me a while to find him. Al Nash? TV's Al Nash.
18. Was Morgan Schneiderlin still there? 2017.
Is that an answer you'd like to submit?
I think it's wrong, but I'll just say it. Yeah.
It's wrong, Al
Yeah,
Nash. It's
sorry.
wrong. Kaya Rondo Del Rey.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Name another one, doesn't he?
Oh, Christ, you're absolutely right, John. He's got to get another
Don't
one
let
right.
him have it that easily.
I forgot the rules of our game.
Oh, it's such an easy one. I could have got so easy. Striker.
yeah.
Was there for years.
Yeah.
Amazing potential, never fulfilled it. Currently playing in Mexico, I believe.
There's one with
That
amazing
guy,
potential
I think
that
he'd
did
gone by
fulfill
that
it.
point. If I'm thinking of who you're thinking of.
No.
He watched the
Absolutely
game,
not.
Al. Are you sure you want to go up against him like this?
This is a level of mind games I'm not used to.
Black gloves.
You better get the name right.
Oh,
Kaya.
I know who you're thinking of.
You're dithering, Kaya.
yeah,
This
okay.
is taking some time.
Because I'm not sure if he was injured on the day. I'm not going to go with Al's suggestion. I'm going to go with Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney was there.
Yeah.
Of course he was.
Nice.
Congratulations.
That's
I will
nice.
clap you now.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Rondo Del Rey. Other names you could have had. Antonio Valencia.
Oh, yeah.
Enric Mkhitaryan.
Yes.
He was there.
course.
Juan Mata. Anthony Martial.
yeah.
Jesse Lingard. Ander
There was a pundit
Herrera.
today on the
God,
game we were
this
watching.
is embarrassing.
Timothy Fosu-Mensah, maybe a harder
Oh,
one
one of
to
my
get.
boys. I love Timothy Foster.
Marcus Rashford, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And current Manchester United manager Michael Carrick.
Oh, God.
I thought he was gone by then. I cannot believe Michael Carrick was still playing.
Was Anthony Martial in there?
Anthony Martial.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Anthony Martial. You could have
That's
had.
who I was leading me towards, but wasn't
There
sure if
you
it was
go.
Mind Games.
Well, how about that? Congratulations, Kaya.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Do you
Well
feel
done.
good?
Yeah, sure.
And to the listeners at home, I would say it's a cliche, but when you're in the heat at the moment, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard.
People
It is
don't
really
realise.
hard.
I don't like playing it
Yeah,
because I get it
it's
wrong
horrid.
all the time.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay, fine. Well, I thought you did admirably well.
Yeah.
Very well indeed. Now, there we go. That was the rondo. What's up next? Well, John, let's talk about the US men's national team who beat Paraguay 4-1 in their opening game of the World Cup. It's an interesting story with the US men's national team because I think there were many people expecting them to not perform particularly well in this World Cup going into it. You weren't one of them. You've been kind of hard on the notion that actually they're a pretty good team.
Well, I mean, I sort of pushed back on. I think it's a little bit embarrassing how the European people, maybe we should say, just think that the American team will do badly every time because they think Americans can't play football, which is, I think, unfair. And so I was pushing back against that rather than this idea that they're going to go through and win the whole thing.
Right.
I think they go into this tournament with one of the better coaches in the tournament. They have probably the best squad they've ever had by a long margin. And I think because they don't have a huge amount of like top end players necessarily, or at least the kind of creative players that you might expect for a team to be good, people have just been like, Christian Pulisic is their star player, and he's not been playing particularly well in the run up to this. I think he hadn't scored in something like 18 games before one of the friendlies. I think it was against Senegal where he scored a goal in that game and was really celebrating because he hadn't scored for a long time. But yeah, I've watched a lot of their games in the run up. I made a video about them, and I was watching these games and I was like, they're good. Like they're a team who I think most good sides wouldn't want to come up against because they are a potential banana skin. They play with a level of intensity that I think is quite scary for international teams. Because they have the physicality to just kind of go at you to an extent, and that's what we saw in the game against Paraguay. And they're the kind of game they're kind of team who can cause you problems, I think, in a knockout competition. So yeah, I was watching a lot of the games, and Pochettino was trying to find a way of being able to overcome a lot of different tactical problems. They had a few iffy games. They lost 5-2 to Belgium. They lost to Portugal. They had a few games like that where people were like, as soon as they come up against a big side, they'll inevitably fail. But I think if you watched all those games in a series, you could see that they were fixing problems. They were finding ways of being able to for Pochettino to get the players on the pitch doing the things he wanted them to do, and he's arrived at the system maybe towards the run up to the World Cup, so maybe quite late on, but it seemed to work. It seemed to fit. There was questions about the squad when it was announced because they went in looking quite midfielder light, but then they had Malik Tillman, who most people thought would maybe start in the forward line, who's been playing in one of the 8 slots alongside Tyler Adams. He seems to be working really well. Weston McKennie playing in front of him with the capacity to just do a lot of ball carrying and a lot of out of possession work as well. They've been using this really nice system where they can shift between back 4 ideas and back 3 ideas, using Alex Freeman as a guy who can play as an outside centre back or as a fullback. He usually plays as a fullback. So they have like flexibility there. They have physicality and intensity to be able to cause big teams problems, but they also have the ability to play well against the lesser teams as well. I know
they were playing against Paraguay, who weren't very good in the game, but
sure.
In that context, I think they're with the exception of Germany today, I think they're the best team I've seen so far. The best looking team I've seen.
Yeah.
US.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that's always going to be tough for the US is that they are going to have to play different kinds of football depending on who they come up against.
Yeah. Well, they're playing Australia on Friday, and then they're
right.
Turkey the following week.
Yeah, and we saw from the Turkey-Australia game that Australia are going to sit in a low block and try and frustrate them, and that will be a question of how will they deal with that for sure. But I also think that this is a team who can play in different ways. I showed in my video just using possession numbers, showing that they started off with the tournament. They were playing smaller teams and they were putting up 65-70% possession because they were much better than the teams. By the time they get to the end of the tournament, they put up 40% possession against Mexico in the final, which they ended up losing. They didn't actually play particularly well in that game, but it was just a way of illustrating that it's difficult for these mid-table World Cup sides because, and we'll talk about it with Scotland as well. You're going in and you're expected to perform one way against a team who's going to play in a very different way to some of the other teams, and you have to shift between those styles. Whereas if you're in England or you're Portugal or Spain or Netherlands, you sort of have your one-size-fits-all approach and you tweak within that. Whereas teams like the US have to have the ability to be like, we're going to have a lot of the ball today or we're not going to have much of the ball today. And I think that's what Pochettino's done so well. He's sort of given them different solutions. He's found this system which is sort of one-size-fits-all but structurally, but then they can do different things within it. And I'll be interested to see how they do against Australia. But I think the fact of the matter is they're through now and they will then be coming up against teams where they can play this more underdog, direct style of football.
Yeah.
I think that if the draw is favourable to them, they could go round of 16, quarterfinals, even if they have a nice run.
A team that we did expect to be good, Kaya, that weren't fantastic. No, I'm not talking about Turkey.
Oh, right, okay.
I think we will save talk of Turkey for another time.
Works for me.
Turkey obviously lost 2-0 to Australia pretty early in the morning in the UK.
Yes.
So none of us really saw that, although John did watch it the next day, and also so did you, and I watched the highlights, and we all saw how bad Turkey was. But no, I'm talking about Brazil. Brazil played Morocco the other day. I can't remember what day it was now. They all bleed into one. It was 1-1. Morocco, fantastic in that game, as expected. Brazil, pretty rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's technically today, maybe yesterday was when it was.
Was it?
It was 11 o'clock.
It was yesterday.
11 o'clock. It bled
in yesterday and today.
Yeah, it bled in today as we started the stream,
I'm so sorry,
but
guys.
it's yesterday.
It's currently tomorrow, so it did not happen today.
Yeah, that's true.
They were rubbish, maybe a bit harsh, but they were slightly disappointing.
Yeah.
And I think Morocco might be coming away from that game thinking, wow, we missed an opportunity to get 3 points here. And I think the issues that you have looking at the squad for Brazil on paper in terms of their midfield, the lack of mobility and the lack of legs really got shown up. And Casemiro came off at half-time, got booked, had quite a difficult first half.
Fabinho, who I kind of forgot existed.
Yeah, I think when I know Al has a soft spot for Casemiro, so I feel bad sort of talking badly about him in front of him. But I think that is the issue that you feel with the Brazilian team because they've got such good talent up front, and Vinicius Junior's goal was unbelievable. Probably one of, if not the goal of the tournament. I think Flo Balogun's second goal for the USA is a pretty strong contender as well. I just feel that when it comes to unleashing that individual talent, I feel like Ancelotti's trying to do a bit of the Real Madrid playbook where it's kind of be relatively solid defensively, try and control the game in midfield a bit, and just have your individual talents up front who can make the difference for you. But I don't know. And listen, Casemiro's proved a lot of people wrong this season. Has had a much better season than people expected him to. But I don't know that Bruno Guimaraes and Lucas Paquetá as a midfield three can control games in a way, and this sounds unbelievably harsh to judge them against it, but like Modric, Kroos and Casemiro did when they're in that Real Madrid midfield. So it's difficult. There's not that much strength and depth in the fullback positions or in midfield position for Brazil. But now they come up against teams you'd expect them to be in Haiti and Scotland, and you still make them favourites to progress through the group quite comfortably. And they'll be contenders because of that individual talent they've got. But yeah, slightly underwhelming start for them.
Sorry, you caught me mid-burp.
Oh, okay, perfect timing.
Professional broadcaster. Now, next up, we're going to talk about Scotland shortly, but before we do that, let's play another new game. This game is called... I forgot to name this game. This game is called Heads Up. No, what? Heads... I'm just saying words. Heads.
Why are you going with
head to head? That's what I'm trying to say.
Head to head.
It's called Head to Head. Second hand. I like that. No, that's good. I've come up with that in the moment. I'll use that now for the rest of the tournament. Head-to-head second hand. Now, here's how head-to-head second hand works. John will be playing versus JJ. Now, 10 times over the course of the next 5 weeks or so, John and JJ will have to buy something from eBay that's second hand. There'll be a different monetary value attached to each item, and there's a different category each time. Both players will come to the Tifo Football Podcast. They will show their item, and they will describe why they've bought it and why they should win that week's installment of head-to-head second hand. Now, today is round one. Obviously, JJ isn't here, so the fantastically talented TV's Al Nash will be standing in JJ's place. But we're going to start with John, who is here. Now, John, The category for the first week, of course, was the bargain round. Your rule here was that you had to spend under £20, and what we were looking for was the best football item possible for £20 or less. No other rules, pure bargain hunting. So, what have you got, John? What have you got?
I think I've done well.
I wish you'd opened it
I've done
before we
well.
started.
Well, I thought it would be more fun to show
Actually, that's true. There's a very popular unboxing.
yeah.
Isn't there?
unboxing.
Now, what have you got there?
Oh, wow.
I've got Manchester United chess set.
Wow, that's exciting.
And,
That's cool.
It's the 1968 winners versus the 1999 winners.
Oh, so they get dads
yeah.
and everyone's involved. How about that? You get the old folk. You take that round.
There's also chess instructions if you're not knowledgeable of the
Very important. Al Nash, do you know how to play chess?
I do.
How about that? Are you excited by this as a Manchester
I'm
United fan?
intrigued to know who the Queen is in this scenario.
Yeah, I was saying which
Seemingly,
players which roles.
I don't know. I'm a little bit. Oh, that's the difference. The Queen and King are the same person, but one of them's got a crown at the bottom and the other one doesn't.
Right. Which person are they?
Number 4, whoever that was, but it's David Beckham for. Oh, actually, it's not. It's different ones for. Wait.
What, John? What's happened? Tell the audio listener.
There seems to be like lots of knights for. I think they've mixed up the bases. I think the bases come off.
Okay.
Oh,
that's what's
okay.
going on here.
Of course, it's a
But-
second-hand game, so anything could have happened with the
So
bases.
let me show you some of the. So we've got Ryan Giggs.
Wow.
There's Ryan Giggs.
There he is.
There's a David Beckham.
Oh, there's David. Everybody's favourite.
He'd be a bishop, you know.
Do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Those are angular moves.
I guess you can choose who you want them to be. So
Yeah.
you can just switch them around.
Oh, because
So
you can switch the base.
Sure.
There's Roy Keane.
Who would you have Roy Keane as, Al?
You think maybe a I want to say I think Castle.
A rook?
Yeah, a rook.
Were you
Yeah.
a rook there?
What do the rooks do again?
The castles.
Is that
They
what
they go as far as you want in straight lines.
Sure.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
And actually, they're quite like hacking pieces.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So in a sense, that's not a bad shout.
Warriors.
I think that John, you've actually outdone yourself there.
Yeah, this is great.
That is
And
brilliant.
at the risk of you making any more noise pulling things out of that plastic,
Should we just stop?
I think you probably should stop. But what I will say is I can't wait to see these players displayed on the display behind you. I'm finding it difficult to imagine how JJ will have bested you here. How much was this, by the way?
20 bang on.
Oh, so it was bang on 20?
Yeah.
And that includes your postage and packaging, does it?
It does
Because
indeed.
otherwise you'd be disqualified. Very strict rules.
I
here.
negotiated. the postage. Yep, I'm a
How
wheeler
about
dealer.
that? Well, I think a round of applause for John there.
Very good.
That's terrific bargain hunting. Terrific bargain hunting. Now, Al Nash, would you mind telling us what JJ purchased and then
Yes.
reading what he sent you to read?
Of course. Shall I reveal it first and then read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is JJ's address. It's his
Yeah.
number. He's doing well for himself, isn't he? Crikey.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. He has got this.
Ah, yes. Konami.
Okay.
It's Superstar Soccer 98, is
Yes.
Okay.
it? Lovely.
And I will now read out what JJ said.
It's a straight bat from JJ.
Behold, the greatest football video game to have ever existed. This is the game that properly got me hooked on football. I played them all. FIFA SWOS, Champ Man, Ultimate Soccer Manager, Italia 90, but this was the one. I used to rent this weekly from Blockbuster just to play it until I could finally afford to buy it. It was a time when we were carefree, when the sun was bright and the sky blue, and I was inside playing International Superstar Soccer 98 from JJ Bull.
There we go. Well, a round of applause for JJ Ball there. And for the mightily talented Al Nash.
Thank you.
What a rendition. How about that? What do you make of JJ's selection here, Al?
Well, I hasten to add, Joe, that this includes commentary by Tony Gubber.
Wow.
Whoa.
Tony
The
Gubber.
little nice little photograph of Tony there.
Oh, can I have a look at that?
Please do.
Would
Yeah,
you
yeah.
mind? Oh, there's Tony.
There's Big Tony. Yeah,
There's Tony.
Yeah,
Tone.
the Gub man. It looks great. Oh, the graphics look amazing. Look at that. That big swoosh for a free kick.
Wow.
Yeah. Looks great. Who is it? Presumably the game is decided by you who wins.
No, so I've put a poll in the
Oh,
chat.
no way.
To see the live chat. That's the benefit of having an
Wow,
audience here.
Okay.
So I put it to the live stream audience. Who should win the first?
Mr. Speaker,
installment?
I put it to you.
Mr.
Yeah.
Speaker, I put it to the live stream
I want to be
audience.
absolutely clear. I will say, can I read the blurb and that might sway the
No,
viewers?
please do. Yeah, because there's still voting time.
It's back. The greatest ever soccer game returns in sparkling form for 1998. Incredible motion-captured players, rendered with stunning 3D polygon graphics, push the 64 to the max.
High octane.
High octane. Choose from 48 international teams and 9 stadiums.
Wow.
New team formation options and strategies allow for deeper playability than ever before. Design your own players and save them to controller pack. Commentary from Tony Gubber of BBC's Match of the Day fame. And I will say, every sentence I've just read ends with an exclamation mark. So they really mean it.
Al Nash, they're always auditioning for another brand deal.
Yeah. If Konami want to get in touch.
Now, I have to say, I've ended the poll now. That was a good few minutes of voting there. And John, you're the winner today. Congratulations. I think a fair winner.
Congrats.
Well done.
Woo,
Congrats.
fair winner.
I think that's a brilliant
fantastic
purchase.
chess set. Were there other teams' chess sets available?
I only saw that one.
And did you search for chess-related items, or did you find it
I might have
randomly?
got this one randomly. You did tell me to search on football memorabilia when we were going through this, as though I don't know what you thought I was doing. You made it sound as though I was just on eBay and I was just scrolling through everything on
Fucking
eBay.
football.
You're like, have you thought of searching within football memorabilia? I was
You
like,
could
yeah.
search for more specific items. How about that? Well done.
But it's a real find, isn't it? It's great.
I think it is. And to be honest, even the detail that you haggled alone on the delivery, it was enough for you to win that round. So well done. JJ will be here tomorrow, and he'll be here in future. I think actually the next time we play this will be the England game on Wednesday, where you'll both be here with your second instalment. So look forward to that. And thank you again to Al Nash for stepping in.
Are you
as
being
JJ
reimbursed
Bull.
for this? Are you expected to spend 20 quid each week?
Oh, it goes up, believe me.
Oh, crikey.
He's being reimbursed. He's not
Okay,
spending his own
good,
money,
good,
Al
good,
Nash.
okay.
Don't worry.
I'm just
don't
checking.
worry.
I'm looking out for you, John.
That's just you that's paying for your own
Yeah,
travel.
okay, great.
There we go. Now, okay, back to the football. Before we, are you okay for time?
Even if I wasn't, Joe.
That's kind of true.
Yeah.
Isn't it? We'll be so quick. Don't you worry
All good,
about it.
all
Now,
good.
a quick sojourn to Scotland there, John, who played, of course, last night, didn't they? They beat Haiti 1-0 in the end, although it was not hugely impressive display. And the conversation we had afterwards related to the potential permutations, because they're in a tough group. They are in the Brazil-Morocco group. Obviously, they needed to beat Haiti to have any chance of progressing in reality, because it's unlikely that they'll get significant results out of the other two games. The problem now is trying to work out how good you have to be a good third-placed team. And 1-0 against Haiti feels maybe like a missed opportunity, despite it being fantastic to get a win.
Yeah, I've just done an analysis video on this on the live stream, so some people might already have watched this. But yeah, the thing for me is that it's pretty clear that if you're going to go through as a third-place team, which you probably are if you're Scotland and Brazil and Morocco are in your group, so you're aiming for that third place, but not all of the third-place teams go through, only 8 of the 12. And so we had a look at what is likely to happen if you do finish in third place in terms of goal difference or points. And there's 2 things. One of them is that if you get more than 3 points, you're almost certainly going to go through. So you get your 1 win against Haiti, and then you take a point off Brazil or Morocco, and then you're probably through for Scotland. The other approach is to focus on goal difference, which is, the reality is that if you're on -2 goal difference, you're maybe not going to make it. If you're on -1, maybe you will. The problem with Scotland now is they're on only +1 because they only beat Haiti 1-0, which means if they lose both of their next games, they have to hope to do so by simply 1 goal losses, which will take them to -1, which is already on the cusp of, 2 very good results to only lose to those teams by 1 goal. You're also on the cusp of maybe not making it through as a third-place team. So, yeah, I think it's an interesting one, right? Because on the one hand, Scotland have built a team where they are going to be able to play sort of lower block and counter football. Haiti is the only game that they're going to come up against where they'll be the clear favourites, probably. So should they build their squad and their approach around 1 game in order to go through, or should they, try and build an underdog football team where you're like, okay, well, we'll beat Haiti, whatever, and then we'll go into the other 2 games with the belief that we can take a point off Brazil or Morocco. The problem is that actually watching the game against Haiti, I thought it was, in the second half, Scotland did play that way. They played kind of underdog football against a team who are ranked 40 below them in the FIFA rankings, and they didn't look dangerous at all, right? So this sort of raises questions about whether or not that approach was better. And I suppose you could say, well, why not just approach the Haiti game as like the game that if we win by 3-4 goals maybe,
Yeah, well, you smashed
then we've
it.
got a chance. We've got a chance of keeping the other games a little bit lower scoring, but still go through with the goal difference. It is worth saying, we mentioned this in the video, that they lost Billy Gilmore right at the end of their preparations, and no doubt he would have been an important part of the game against Haiti. The problem is they've got this team that's actually pretty good at playing quite direct, not that great at having ball possession for a long period. And I think they got a little bit nerved in the game because they weren't able to progress the ball particularly well. And when they were losing it, they were leaving themselves a little bit open at the back in certain areas. So Andy Robertson was pushing forward, leaving space in behind that Haiti were able to exploit. And so you're in this sort of a little bit of a bind, because it's kind of like, well, we want to possess the ball and dominate the game. We don't really have the players to do that. It's not going to work out in this game, but hopefully in the games against Brazil, Morocco, we're able to actually make it work, do direct attacks that sort of work, and then absorb the pressure the other direction. So it's a tough one, but I felt it was too negative that the way they were playing against Haiti. They went 1 goal up and then they just sort of sat back, and I just kind of think, you're almost just going for the win for posterity's sake here. You're just going for the win to be like, well, we won, we were third place team, and we didn't go through. We're very unlucky. When it's really it's kind of like, well, you're not playing to just to have that historical posterity in hindsight. It's kind of, you want to get through the group. So I just wish they'd kind of gone for it a little bit more in that game, tried to score a few goals, and if you end up losing or drawing because of that, then you say, we lost or drew. We weren't going to get through otherwise if we didn't go for this game. So it's a tricky one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Scotland play Morocco on Friday, and then big game against Brazil Wednesday, the 24th of June. So lots left to come, and we'll talk about them as well as all the other teams that have performed much more as the tournament goes on. As a reminder, we are live again tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. There's a few days off. I think next Thursday is our first day off, but we will be here ever present for most of the rest of the World Cup. A couple more things to get through before we finish today, though. Who would like to read some excellent football jokes?
I can do it if
Oh,
you like.
great. Thanks. That's good news. That's good news. Now, this bit, as many people in the live stream have already identified and pointed out, this bit is very loosely based on the late, great Norm Macdonald, who used to tell fantastic jokes on his podcast. I've got one here for you, Al Nash, to read out. Would you read that one for the audience, please?
I say it's odd to see so many photographers at World Cup games. Don't they know it's on TV?
It's good. That's because they wouldn't be there if they knew it was on TV.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take that one home if you want. What about this one, Al Nash? You want to read that one?
Some of the games of this World Cup being played at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yes, lovely place.
It's really slick and well designed.
Yep.
A real Rolls-Royce of a stadium.
A very, real Rolls-Royce of the stadium, yeah. I think this one would suit Kaya. Would you pass that to Kaya for me, Al Nash?
Okay.
Thank you.
Why take a single piece of paper when you can't get a whole Tim Reed?
When you can get a hold, Tim Reed.
Oh.
Yeah. But no, indeed, why would
This
you?
is why Al reads the jokes and not me.
delivery,
Yeah.
I was going to say that. Wasn't
How about that
Sorry.
one? No, that's good, isn't it? Yeah. And John, here's one for you, John, to read. Would you read that one for me?
That's a longie.
Refuse to read.
That's a longie.
Algerian goalkeeper Usama Benbot
Yes.
has contested reports that he's an AI masquerading as a footballer.
Right.
Do you know, I think you could probably end the joke there and it works.
But I haven't done that. I've
you've
reached for more.
You've managed to make it worse.
Yeah.
Benbot released a statement to the contrary. It was very well laid out, and the use of M dashes was really helpful to clarify the issue.
It's good, isn't it? I think what made it better was that you paused halfway through to give some analysis as well. It was like one of our podcasts, wasn't it?
Could you explain the joke, though? Could you explain that?
Would you like me to explain it to
Yeah.
you? Did you not understand that one?
No, I think it's hilarious, but I think for the listener.
I prefer that they don't know.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I thought I was going to leave this one because the others have been excellent jokes. This one's not that good,
Chano.
but it's the last one for you to read. Okay,
thank you.
And I'm sorry.
Oh, for God's sake. Okay. I'm a comedian named Al Nash.
That's right.
So imagine my surprise when Cristiano Ronaldo showed up at my door a few years ago and tried to start playing for me.
That's weird.
I said, Cristiano, you made a simple but understandable mistake. I'm Al Nash, not Al Nasser.
Yeah.
He was sad. He was sad, but he understood.
He was sad, but he understood.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy. Yeah.
Nice guy. There you go.
You should have said Al Nasher. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Al Nasher.
Nasher.
How about that?
Yeah.
What a strange thing to happen to you.
And it did happen to
And
me.
it did happen to you anyway. Now, should we play Points Are Bad? Producer Don, do we have the music lined up for Points Are Bad? Producer Don says maybe it's late in the day. We don't need it, Don. We'll have it ready for tomorrow instead. Now, Points Are Bad. Are you familiar with Points Are Bad?
I am.
Nash? There we go. Okay, so Points Are Bad. Very exciting for today. Now, what we've done so far is we've played Points Are Bad for every single game that's happened in the World Cup, and there's been many of them because we're starting these streams pretty late. So from Mexico, South Africa on the first day, all the way up to we have predicted for, well, actually, we've made our predictions for Cote d'Ivoire, Ecuador, which is happening right now, and Sweden, Tunisia as well. But so far, I can reveal that I'm joint last with JJ Bull, 22. It's very tight right now. We're on 22 points added each, which I feel like is quite a lot for this early in the tournament. It's fair to say that Germany, Curacao 7-1 has wiped out many of us. John, you're next on 21. Kaya, currently leading the affair, 20 points. Very
Nice.
exciting for you. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to say, when I was there, you personally predicted that Curacao would score a goal. So when they did, I was feeling very, very smug.
There you go.
And then I think I went 4-1, and Germany got to 4-1 in the 46th minute, and I started to sweat a bit at that point.
No, fair enough. Well, you are also the only person that doesn't currently have a perfect prediction.
Oh.
JJ and John got theirs on Netherlands, Japan. You both predicted 2-2. Very impressive. I got mine on South Korea, Czech Republic, a game I did not watch but miraculously correctly predicted.
You know ball, Joe. You know ball.
I know ball big time. Yes, I do. Now, the thing is, because we haven't got JJ here tonight, and tomorrow night we won't have John here, and we're sort of doing a little bit of alternating, we've got a spreadsheet that we need to fill out as time goes. So it won't always be possible, like today, for us to make our predictions, but I want you to know that we're playing. And when we can make those predictions, we will do. Unfortunately, because JJ is joint last right now, he would need to make his, and I failed to remind him during the interval to do so. So we'll come back tomorrow and actually make our predictions, but we'll be doing that on a daily basis. So we'll be predicting for tomorrow's shows, tomorrow's games, which is Spain versus Cape Verde, Belgium, Egypt, Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay, and Iran versus New Zealand. So join the adventure, the Points Are Bad adventure, with us. There we go. Have I missed anything, Producer Ryan? We're all wrapped up. Jon Mackenzie, thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.
Kaynak, thank you so much.
Thanks.
TV's Al Nash. A round of applause for TV's Al Nash.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Joe.
Have you enjoyed yourself, Al Nash?
Had a lovely time.
That's fantastic. Well,
We have.
I'll tell also listeners that Al Nash has not just been here for the podcast, if you're listening afterwards. Al Nash has been with us, I think, for 17 hours now, because we're doing live streams every day. So if you didn't know already, then come and join us tomorrow or the day after, where we'll be watching a game that happens between 8 p.m. and midnight UK time. But until then, au revoir, goodbye, sleep well, good night. Thank you.